Ignorant, dumb, or dishonest. That is going to be the theme of this vlog. Something of a follow-up on the James Comey story. Now, some of you might be sitting there saying, who the hell are you and what did you do with Viva? This is Viva Fry. Post-shave, I feel naked, I feel ugly, but I needed some exfoliation and I needed some sun on my skin. Some of you have been saying, Viva, obsessing over this story, go outside and touch grass. Let me just tell you what I did today, and literally what I did today and today only. I woke up, tended to the dogs, went for a 4.57 mile jog. Then I had to go get the license plate renewed. I also took the opportunity to get a custom plate. Booyah. Then I got some minnows. Then I went fishing with the kid. Then I took that kid to a birthday party. Then I took two other kids to the beach. Then we came back. Then I went for a 10-mile bike ride. That's literally what I did today, but I'm able to multitask. And I was, admittedly, obsessing over this James Comey story. Obsessing because, for those of you who may or may not be familiar with OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, you will find something to obsess over, so you may as well make it a healthy thing, a productive thing, and gosh darn, is this productive and is this healthy, at least to me. Dumb, dishonest, or, oh, I screwed it up. It is ignorant, dumb, or dishonest. That is the theme of this vlog. I am right. Okay, people, I am right. If you don't agree with me, it is because you're either ignorant, dumb, or dishonest. And if you do agree with me, congratulations, you're ahead of the curve. The whole James Comey thing. Oh, Viva, the 8647, it was nothing. It means to cancel something on the menu of a whatever. Oh, Viva, it doesn't mean to kill, yada, yada. We can agree to disagree on certain things, and two things can be true at once. The concept 86, as in 86 something on a menu. Yes, it has multiple meanings, but then we agree. One of those multiple meanings is to kill somebody. And for those of you who have been living under a rock and haven't seen my show all week or the vlog I put out yesterday, James Comey took to Instagram to put out a post, something along the lines of, look at the cool formation of shells I found on the ocean. And it said 8647, 8647. As into whatever you think 86 means, 47, that being Donald John Trump, the 47th president of these United States of America. Now, some of you are saying, oh, what's the big deal? I didn't know 86 potentially meant to kill somebody. Okay, good. You might not have been conscious in 2020 when Gretchen Whitmer did the same thing. 8645 in the backdrop of her setting when she was doing a Meet the Press interview. We went through this already. Nobody can plead ignorance unless you weren't paying attention back then. But if you were a member of a political party, politically involved, the former director of the FBI, you can't plead ignorance. So James Comey puts out that stupid post on Instagram only to swiftly take it down. And some people are saying it means nothing. It means to cancel something from the menu. That's all that Comey was suggesting, that we cancel Donald Trump from the menu. Other people are just denying that 86 means to kill somebody. 8 miles out, 6 feet deep. Oh, no, Viva, it doesn't mean that. You are either ignorant, dumb, or dishonest. If you didn't know that 86 meant to kill, to terminate a problem with extreme prejudice, if you didn't know that, you're ignorant. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant. Now you know. If you did know that it meant that, and you chose to write that fact off as being not relevant, you're dumb. And if you knew that it meant to kill somebody, and you deliberately concealed that piece of information from yourself or from the general public, you are dishonest. It's not up for discussion. It was used in The Sopranos. It was used in The Sopranos, and that is particularly relevant, by the way. I want to show you why that's particularly relevant, because James Comey is familiar with The Sopranos. Everybody knows it means to kill. Everybody knows. It has alternate meanings. Everybody knows it. But bottom line, James Comey posted, he since took down the post and apologized for it. AI overview. By the way, it was a little tricky to get AI to answer the question. I said, has the term 86 ever been used on The Sopranos? And the first answer it gave me is, yes, but it's not frequently used on The Sopranos. All right, that's great. I then asked it another question. Has it ever been used on The Sopranos? Yes, the term 86 is used in The Sopranos. It's used to mean eliminating a problem, often a person, in a violent context. For example, instructing someone to 86 a target would imply an order to kill them. Oh, look at that. People who knew that that was the case. Hey, oh, I bet you James Comey did. You know why I know that James Comey did? Because in an interview that he gave in whatever thing this is, I don't know, it has an airplane on the top. I had to go get an archive link in order to get past the, not a paywall, but an email wall, because I ain't giving my email address to this scum publication, whatever the hell this is. Look at this. The G-Man writes again. Former FBI Director James Comey on working for George W. Bush and Barack Obama. Advice from the current director, Kash Patel, and the art of his second act. Writing thrillers. Issue number 305. Well, you know what he said in this interview? For those of us who are paying attention, obsessing over this, trying to find some definitive piece of evidence that James Comey knew damn well what 86 meant when he stumbled across those shells on the beach that said 8647 and pretended not to know what it meant, pretended that he's not the one who did it. Holy crap, I'll get to that in a second. You want to know how I know that he knows what 86 meant? Oh, look what came out of this article, by the way. JK, which is the person asking them the question. Before you wrote your first novel, were you an avid fan of crime novels and TV shows? Rudy Giuliani, a federal prosecutor before he became mayor, faithfully watched The Sopranos when it first aired. Is there any crime novelist or TV show that especially influenced you? Great question. Let's hear what JC stands for. And no, it doesn't stand for the good guy. It stands for the bad guy, James Comey. No, for decades, I found it difficult to read or watch anything involving crime, espionage, or terrorism because those things filled my days. Oh, I'm sorry. What did you just say? Espionage, crime, and terrorism filled your days, and you pretend not to know what 86 meant in the context of a mob hit? Oh, no, but it gets better, people. I read Turo's Presumed Innocent in 1987 just before I went to work as a prosecutor for Rudy, who seemed different then, but maybe it's me. And I don't remember reading another in the genre until recently. And I highlighted this for those of you out there who weren't aware of it. You can no longer claim ignorance. For those of you who don't think this is relevant, you're dumb. And for those of you who know that it's relevant and choose to hide it, you're dishonest. Long ago, I tried to watch The Sopranos, but hated the way it made a bunch of vicious bullies into something they are not. So the man is familiar with crime, espionage, terrorism, because it fills his days. He watched The Sopranos, in which they use the term 86 to take out their enemies, their adversaries, with extreme prejudice. And this mofo pretends he didn't understand what 8647 meant when he took the picture, when he put the shells together. And by the way, it being made out of shells is not lost on me. Pretends he didn't know what it meant. Oh, I thought it meant something political, but I had no idea it meant to kill your opponent, to kill your adversary, even though I watched The Sopranos and they use it on The Sopranos. But that's not the clincher of the evidence that James Comey is a dirty, rotten liar who deserves to be prosecuted for this and deserves to be put in jail for this. And people out there saying, Viva, you're against free speech. Free speech doesn't include threats. People out there, Viva, it's not a threat. Let's agree to disagree on that. But James Comey knew what he was doing. And if he knew what he was doing, well, then it becomes far more arguable that it wasn't a threat or a call to action. He knew damn well what he was doing. This was not a joke. This was not something that he didn't know what he was doing when he did it. And I am an absolute proponent of free speech. That doesn't mean it's consequence-free speech, and that doesn't mean you get to break the law with that speech. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater if you know that there's no fire in that crowded theater. You can yell fire in a crowded theater if you think there's a fire there or there is in fact a fire there. You cannot say to nix the president in whatever code that you're trying to say it in, thinking that you're smarter than the authorities, that it won't rise to the level of a Brandenburg threat, true threat, naming a person, a place, and a time. You're getting pretty damn close, people. And so Comey wants to say, I didn't know what 86 meant. Oh, the best, and the absolute best. And Don Jr. tweeted it out or retweeted it earlier today because I cannot stress it enough. Not only did James Comey know what he was doing, he's flipping telling you what he's doing. He's telling you what he's doing, and you are either too ignorant, dumb, or dishonest to listen to his flipping words. This is his Instagram feed. Here he is on the beach reading his own flipping book. Here's 8647, a tweet that he since deleted because he didn't realize it had a crime murder connotation to it, even though he spent all of his days with crime, espionage, and terrorism and watched The Sopranos, but didn't like the show because it made the bullies into something they're not, where they frequently use the term 86 to kill their rivals. The most important piece of evidence, and it's evidence right now, because I agree, you may disagree with me, but I'm building a case. I'm building a case for charging James Comey with uttering a threat against the life of the President of the United States, calling for violence against the President of these United States of America. The most damning piece of evidence is right here on the left. He's literally telling you what he's doing, and yet you have jackasses out there like Geraldo Rivera who pretend not to hear. He's telling you. And when I tell you that he's telling you, I'm not being hyperbolic. He's literally telling you what he's doing. And some people are either too ignorant to understand, too stupid to understand, or too dishonest to admit it. James Comey, in the tweet after he put up 8647 on his Instagram feed, right after the picture of him reading his own book in a chair on the beach, he then posts 8647 and then posts this, a review of his book, FDR Drive. James Comey, Mysterious Press, $30. A fool and his money are easily parted if you go buy this rubbish. What does he tell you in the description of the book? Former FBI Director Comey, West Part, reunites the protagonist of his first two legal thrillers for his strongest outing yet. U.S. Attorney Carmen Garcia is trying to take down Samuel Buchanan, a far-right media personality with a popular podcast vilifying those he thinks are destroying America, intellectuals, immigrants, and people of color. Listen to this, people. You can no longer plead ignorance. If you're stupid, we'll all help educate you. And if you're dishonest, well, God will help educate you. Garcia believes Buchanan went far beyond the protection of the First Amendment when he singled out his enemies by name and suggested, quote, something should be done, end quote, about them. His fans have obliged, killing or grievously injuring some of his foes. How stupid do you have to be to not understand? James Comey is telling you what he's doing. Dishonest, I can't help you. You will lie. Ignorant, I will help you. I will try to inform you. What did James Comey do? 8647. What does 86 mean? We now know that it means maybe a few things, one of which is to kill. Who's the 47? His adversary, Donald Trump, the 47th president of these United States of America. He singled out his enemy by name, 47, and suggested, quote, something should be done, end quote, when Comey put out 86 to the person that he named by number, not by name. His fans have obliged in the novel. Gee, I wonder what James Comey's doing. And you got Geraldo Rivera out there saying, no, you'd have to be crazy to try to think that there was something sinister to this. You got the Democrat liars out there who will never draw your attention to the modus operandi that James Comey is giving you right there. He's telling you what he did. And some idiots out there are like, no, he didn't know what it meant. He didn't do it. It's just an innocent free speech exercise of free speech. No, it's not. It was a call to violence against Donald Trump. Maybe he thought it was funny, because maybe he thought he was testing the limits of his First Amendment rights with that post. Maybe he thought it was satirical, ironic. Maybe he thought it was a social experiment. Let him raise that defense after he is charged and prosecuted for this. Maybe that's his defense. But his defense is not ignorance. I didn't know what it meant. He told you. His book is about someone pushing the limits of First Amendment rights, singling out his adversaries, suggesting something should be done, and his fans oblige. What do you think James Comey is hoping right now? You think he's hoping the Peter Strokes of the FBI and the other nutbags in there who hate Trump, wanted to see him out at all costs, had their insurance policy for him in 2016? You think he's not hoping, James Comey, that one of his fans obliges his veiled, thinly veiled threat to do something to someone that he's mentioned by name? If I'm obsessing over it, it's only because it's serious. If I'm obsessing over it, it's also because I'm certain that I'm right. And that if you disagree with this assessment and you think this was innocent, he didn't know what he was doing, and it's a pure exercise of free speech, you are either ignorant, dumb, or dishonest. But now you cannot plead ignorance anymore because I have laid the evidence out for you. If you didn't see the video I put out yesterday, I'll link it. But this is the case. This was not a joke. This was not ignorant. This was not innocent. James Comey knew what he was doing. And more importantly, he told you what he was doing. And his lying sycophants are going to do everything they can to conceal that. And I'm going to do everything I can to make everybody appreciate that. Viva Fry, if you're still watching now and you haven't subscribed and turned on notifications, I don't know what I have to do, but do it. Viva Fry on Rumble, the Viva Fry on Twitter, vivabarneslaw.locals.com on Locals. If you want to get a kid's book, hey, by the way, nothing sinister in here. There's no 80-60ing anybody in here. Louis the Lobster returns to the sea, illustrated by Abigail Martin, a member of our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community. I'm right, hands down. If you disagree with me, it's because you are wrong on this particular issue. You know what to do, everybody. So now you know your vlog. Peace out.